Hey everybody, it's Robot here from Vespa Motorsport and ScooterWest.com here in San Diego, California for all things Vespa in North America. Today I'm going to cover all the various modern Vespa tools that we have available, starting from the basic tools for doing an oil change all the way up to specific tools you need to do an engine overhaul. On many of our past videos we talk about these tools, such as in the series for overhauling a complete GTS motor, shows many of the tools in use, both the factory tools and many of the aftermarket tools that we have. If you want to replace the drive belt, you're going to need some specialty tools as well. So pretty much any of the modern Vespas or Piaggio products, starting for North America about 2001 when the ET4 came out. And I'll briefly go over all these tools, starting with the basic ones all the way up to the advanced ones, and just talk about them. I'm not going to talk about use. You can watch our other videos on how to use the tools in the engine. So you're going to do an oil change on your modern 4-stroke Vespa. Two important tools to have is the oil filter. Has this funky looking shape on the end. This is the OEM style oil filter, and we make this tool OF, and it engages in the slot, and this is for installation of the oil filter. The easiest way I found to remove these oil filters, since you don't care about damaging the casing, you could just grab it with a pair of pliers or channel locks and give it a twist. Once you get it loose, then you can unscrew it. When you put it back on, they should be pretty snug, but they don't need to be too tight. And you just engage this tool in there and thread the new oil filter in there. Tool that makes the oil change quite easy. You can't really use a regular oil pan. Tool oil pan, it's a low profile oil pan for changing the oil on most scooters. Has a capacity of a little over 2 quarts, which is plenty for most scooters up to 500 cc. It's got a pour spout, so you can easily dump it out. Say you have a larger Piaggio product with a 400 or 500 cc engine, such as the MP3 or the older Beverly 500. Tool OF3 is the specialty tool that engages on the end of the oil filter to remove the oil filter on those models. So say you're going to jump into changing the drive belt on any of your Vespa or Piaggio products. We have you covered with all the tools required to do so successfully. In order to lock up the drive pulley, that's the pulley that's off the crankshaft on older motors, such as the engine found on the LX or ET4 150 or the GT200. This tool bolts onto the engine case with the belt cover removed, and it engages into the splines of, or the sprocket of the starter gear. And this will lock up the front pulley, so you're able to remove the center nut on the front drive pulley and remove the Variator as well. So on the belt cover, towards the rear of the engine where the clutch is located, there's a center nut that needs to be removed prior to removal of the belt cover on most Vespa models. This tool, once you pop that little chrome cover or satin silver cover off, engages into the clutch drum, so you can easily remove that center nut. Part number on this is tool ETC-IA, and it goes into the pair of pegs, so it fits on ETs, LX, GT, all years of the GTS 300, Primavera Sprints, and many of the Piaggios that have the motors that are smaller than 300 cc. So here's the tool that will lock up the front Variator on the Primavera and Sprint models. Same goes with the 946, the Piaggio Liberty or Fly. It has a pair of prongs that engage into 2 slots on the fixed drive pulley on the front Variator, and it allows you to loosen that center nut, remove the belt. Part number on this is tool ETV01. Here's the Variator holding tool that fits all GTS models from 250 cc all the way to the modern 300s. Tool GTS V, it's a Variator holding tool for those models. Also works with the Beverly 250 and 300. If you have a larger model, such as the BV or MP3 400 or 500, this is the Variator holding tool for that model. Tool P500V. Again, 2 prongs. It's just an oversized version of any of those other tools I just showed you. So on the 150 all the way to the 300cc Vespas, the driven pulley, which is the rear part of the pulley of the transmission that houses a clutch, typically you'd overhaul that at around 24,000 miles, re-grease the pins. You need a special tool that protects the seals and allows you to reassemble that clutch assembly. I have a dedicated video on use of this tool. Tool 62 is our in-house made tool made out of aluminum that's been anodized black. The original Piaggio tool that we have as well is 0202 63Y, and the only difference is it threads onto the part of the clutch versus this one just sits in place. They both do the exact same function. Pretty important tool to have if you're going to overhaul the driven pulley on a Vespa 300, 150, 250, any of those models. So two tools specific to changing the rear wheel on a Vespa GT 200, GTS 250, or 300 Super are these two tools. This tool will help you remove the swing arm. So on the GTS models, they have a removable right-hand side swing arm. Sometimes it gets a little stuck. Part number on this is tool SAP, and it allows you to extract that swing arm pretty easily. Threads into the swing arm half, and it has this extra bolt that will push the swing arm right off the shaft. You remove the muffler. There's a graphite bushing that makes a seal to the manifold header for the exhaust. Oftentimes you need to replace that bushing. You need to expand the exhaust pipe in order to install new bushing because it gets collapsed when you put the exhaust clamp on. Part number tool EX is a very small size exhaust expander that will allow you to expand it to the right size to replace that bushing. Again, only on the GTS models, those are needed. So two tools that are useful for when making valve adjustments on Vespa 50cc 2 valves all the way up to the 300s, even the 500 MP3 are these two tools. Tool VA-WRE is a special wrench that goes over the locking nut and also has a tool for turning the adjuster on the valve. It's a little easier than getting a small wrench in there along with a needle nose to make the necessary adjustments. This is a complete three-piece tool that allows you to work on most adjustable valves on Vespa products, Piaggio products. You can use a standard feeler gauge, or you could use feeler gauges that are specific for adjusting those style valves. We have a complete set of all three, covers all the different valve adjustment clearances on any Vespa or Piaggio product. Tool valve is a set of these three valve feeler gauges specific for adjusting motorcycle or scooter valves. Say you're making necessary adjustments on a carbureted Vespa, carbureted modern Vespa that is. So it could be a GT200, an older LX 150 or ET4. Many of them have a high security adjuster on the mixer screw. The mixer screw adjusts the fuel mixture at idle so you can get the best quality idle. The special tool you'll need to make adjustments to that is a D-shaped tool. You can see the end of this tool has a D in it. Tool Carb D-01 is a special tool for making the special adjustments to that mixer screw. Ideally, you want to set it to about 2.5 turns and work from there. Don't go any more than 3.5, and it shouldn't be all the way in. Somewhere in the range of 1.5 to 3 turns is typically what that adjustment needs to be. Here's a useful tool to have in your workshop. Normally a regular mechanics set just comes with a ratchet. You could use a speed T-handle to get the nuts off. Say if you need to remove all 11 belt cover nuts quickly without a power tool. So what this has is a ball bearing roller, so you could spin the T-handle to remove those nuts quickly. If you watch a lot of my videos, I use tools similar to this. Part number on this is tool-51. It's a handy, high quality tool to have in your toolbox in your workshop. So on the scooter, it's always a good idea to have a screwdriver set for gaining access to fuse panels, the battery, whatever. Just always good to have. the included screwdriver isn't all that good with the toolkit on the scooter. We have two inexpensive products here, Tool 06 and Tool 61. It's a set of Torx bits and also the Phillips bit. Allows you to take any of the fasteners off on a modern Vespa. So here's a handy Swiss Army style tool that has 4 different sizes of the hex and a Phillips and a flat. Tool hex is this tool, and it's ideal and very compact. You can have it on the scooter. You can even go as far as removing the front wheel with this with a 6mm hex Allens. It's made by Bizzetti out of Italy. A pretty handy tool to have on the scooter. If you're looking for the Torx version for all the star fasteners found on the newer Vespas, Tool Torx 01 has all the different size Torx that are found on a modern Vespa, including the T40 to remove the muffler. So say you don't want to make an investment in buying a large set of Torx T-handles, you just need the basic tools to remove some of those fasteners, this is ideal for you. So now on to some specialty tools. On the left-hand mirror on many Vespas, they have reverse threads for the 8mm fastener for the mirror. If you break the mirror stem off or you damage the threads, this is the special reverse left-hand thread tap tool. Tool T01. It's an 8mm left-hand tap. Pretty difficult to find tool, but say you need to chase at the mirror stem, the mirror perch, you can use this tool to do so. A standard tap set wouldn't include this. You're attempting to diagnose a spark problem or just want to verify you have a spark. This is a handy tool. Tool ST has a rough indicator of the kilovolts of your spark. You attach your spark plug cap to this, you ground this in, you can crank over the scooter and visually verify that you have a spark. Ideal if you're trying to troubleshoot an ignition problem on a scooter. Need to change out the center stand spring or you're putting an aftermarket muffler. A handy tool for pulling the springs. It's got a hardened steel hook on it with a T-handle for pulling. Tool spring. Works much better than a pair of pliers or a vice grip. I showed you that clutch tool for most Vespas that has the pair of prongs. Other Vespa models such as the 50cc, this is the special tool for holding the clutch drum on all Vespa and Piaggio 50cc models, and it works with many other 50s, such as ones out of Yamaha. The pair of pegs engages into the holes on the clutch drum, then you're able to remove the center nut that retains the clutch, or vice versa, torque it. Part number for this is Tool CH50. Not leaving buddies and any GY6 scooters, which is the vast majority of other scooters. Say you need to hold the variator, a pair of pins that are found on many of the other model 150 and 125 scooters, even some of the 50s, use this tool. And this tool allows you to lock up the variator. The part number is in the description. Say you need a generic tool for holding the clutch drum that is, so it's a round drum. This tool will hold that in place without any of these specific tools. It's more of a generic universal tool. Goes around the clutch drum, tightens, and you're able to have leverage to loosen or tighten the nuts on the clutch drum. It's also useful if you're dismantling the clutch. It can go around the clutch shoes themselves. So say you own an MP3, it's important to keep the pair of forks lubricated, otherwise you can encounter an issue with the fork bearings where they kind of become detented on the center position. The factory tool for lubricating those forks, 020943Y-IA, threads into one of those fork bearings, or the link actually, and you're able to pump the fork tubes up with grease to lubricate the bearings. Specific only to the MP3. So on to some tools that are useful if you're overhauling the engine or just removing the flywheel on the engine. ET2 in any of the 4-stroke 50cc models, this is a specialized tool for removal of the flywheel. Threads into the center of the flywheel once you remove the cooling fan. Tool Fly 26, that removes the flywheel on 50cc models. Tool Fly removes the flywheel on 150 and 200 models, excluding the Primavera Sprint in 946. For the 250 and 300 GTSs, along with I think anything larger, 350, 400, this is a special tool for removing the flywheel on those models. That flywheel is located in an oil bath. There's also a similar tool that works only with the Primavera and Sprint 946 150s. Looks very similar because those also have a flywheel that resides in the oil bath. Needs a special tool like this, but it's a different part number. So a carryover from the vintage tools, Tool SN is the fork nut removal tool for dismantling the fork stem lock nut and bearing on the upper part of the fork stem. Tool SN comes in handy if you ever need to remove the fork, change it out, or replace the front fender on a Vespa. You'll need this tool. One other option one other application for this tool is removal of the radiator cap on any liquid-cooled Vespa or Piaggio product. This happens to engage with radiator cap quite well. If you got a tight, stubborn radiator cap, this will help you out. Tool SN. So I'm going to cover two specific tools if you're overhauling the top end of a 4-stroke or even a 2-stroke Vespa. Removing the piston pin sometimes can be difficult. This is a special tool that threads through the wrist pin and extracts the wrist pin once you get the circlips that retain the pin in the piston. Part number on this is Tool WP. Say you want to get pretty far into overhauling the top end of any 4-stroke engine or Vespa. This is quite a useful tool for dismantling the valve springs off the valves, so you can dismantle the head all the way. Whether you're replacing the valves, lapping the valves into the head, or you're going to send the head out for machine work. Part number on this is Tool VS Comp. It's specifically engineered for small engines and compresses the valves. On my GTS series, I show how to use this tool. So I hope that quick overview of all the various tools that we carry that work with your modern Vespa helps you out. Of course, I'm not showing you how to use them in this short video. You can look at many of my other videos on use of those tools, whether you want to change a drive belt, do an oil change, or do a full engine rebuild. Search for other videos and you can see further use of those videos. You can look up any of those part numbers on our website, scooterwest.com. Hope that helps out. Until next time, it's Robot here for Vespa Motorsport, Scooter West, here in San Diego. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Vespa Motorsport. Subscribe to our channel to check out all the new videos. I think you hit the little bell and the subscribe button somewhere there on YouTube, whatever you're using on, watch it on TV, mobile phone, I don't know. Until next time, Robot here.